Hello and welcome to another interview in the series where we go behind the scenes and we get an insight into individual affiliate marketers' day-to-day lives. In this podcast, I'm joined by Alex Cooper. Now, for those of you who don't know who he is one of the stalwarts of the affiliate marketing community. He has been doing this for a good number of years. He runs a very successful YouTube channel. Please go check that out. It's called WP Eagle. Likewise, I'll make sure that there's a link in the description below. Now, in this interview, we ask a lot of probing questions, but more importantly, we get to reach out and talk to the person behind the brand. What's he do on a day-by-day basis? What sort of information or insight he can impart to you if you're considering going on this journey, or more importantly, already on this journey. He looks at all aspects of it. He contemplates the different elements of how he does it, what tools he uses, and whether it really provides the job security that you may or may not be seeking outside of your current role. Likewise, he goes into a lot of depth to communicate to you the things that are going to make the difference, choosing the niche, how to get started, and basically keep pushing forward. So join me on this interview as we talk to Alex Cooper. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I've started at the very beginning. I started as an apprentice after doing my A-levels. I never went to university or anything like that. Just went straight into work on £90 a week, whatever it was. And we were installing telephone systems and computer networks. I learnt my Microsoft exams, did all that kind of stuff. Very boring techie job. Mainly involved putting up pulling cables through ceilings and putting Cat5 networks in there. I didn't like it at all. But that job and that apprenticeship was a big turning point in my life, because the managing director of that company, it was a very small company, kind of an up and coming company. He was very, I don't know, inspirational and motivational, and he used to call me into his office and talk to me about business and the fact that, you know, you don't want to be working for someone all your life, you want to have your own company, and trying to get me to think about things in that kind of way. He would lend me lots of books, books on, you know, like Rich Dad Poor Dad and Who Moved My Cheese and all those kind of books, which are really great books to read. I've got to say, they can totally be a turning point in your life. And and from that point, he kind of did get me thinking about setting up my business. But it was some years after that I did eventually set up my own business, and I borrowed some money from my parents, and I set up a business installing Wi-Fi, which was quite a new thing at the time. Wi-Fi, it wasn't obviously everywhere like it is now. Most laptops didn't actually have Wi-Fi on them. You had to install a little card into them, and
the old days of dial-up.
Yeah, the dial-up was just about got it. It was just after that. But yeah, you had to buy a wireless router and you had to hook that up. And it was all a bit flaky. It didn't work particularly well, but there was a big need for it. And the company started growing, and I did installations in schools and in offices and homes, and lots of installation, lots of Wi-Fi, lots of headaches, because so technology wasn't that great back then. So I had a lot of clients ringing up all the time. I was doing all the installations myself and doing the self-employed stuff as a one-man band, where you find out that actually, you know, you have to do everything in the company. And a lot of people, I think, transitioned a bit like I did then, from a kind of technical role where you're a bit of a techie engineer and you know how to install Wi-Fi or whatever it is you do, and you turn that into a business. But then you realize that that's actually only a small part. And then you've got your customer service, you've got your sales, your marketing, your finance, your accounts, all the other bits that come to running a business. So yeah, it became quite stressful. And I had an office which, you know, cost money, and I had to deal with stock because I was buying equipment, selling equipment. Yeah, it was a nightmare, really. But again, a very pivotal thing happened in that business. I was at a networking meeting one morning, which was what I did to get clients. I think it was a BNI. You may have heard of them.
I don't know. Yeah. Givers Gain.
Givers Gain, exactly.
I've done BNI for 10 years, mate. I know exactly what it's like.
Yeah, I did BNI for 10 years as well, which I think is a valuable experience. I was, again, the managing director that I mentioned at the start. As when I was an apprentice, he said, right, you need to go to these breakfast meetings. And again, I was in a techie role then, but he wanted to transition me into more of a salesy role, which is good, because actually later,
5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, getting up at 5:30. Well, that was the thing. We had those BNI meetings all round here, and we had people in all of those BNI meetings. So the ones that he wanted me to go to was over in Cambridge. Now I live in Bedford. Cambridge is about, I don't know, 45-minute drive. So that was a really early start. And yeah, I was like 19. I got my suit on, walk in the room, and there's another 35 people there, and you're like, okay, right. And you've got to stand up and talk for a minute. You've got to network, and yeah, it was uncomfortable, but again, it was a great thing to go through because, you know, like you probably know, your comfort zone, if you get out of your comfort zone and do some stuff, your comfort zone actually grows. And you know, by doing that, I ultimately ended up running a BNI chapter in Milton Keynes, being the, you know, the chapter director, whatever they call it, and presenting the
you
meeting.
probably know Guy Griffiths then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So small world. And BNI, I think, was really valuable. I don't know if it's got so much value nowadays, but back then it was very valuable, and a lot of training and a lot of things. And I think as a small business, I think networking is really valuable. And I'm still, you know, I still have business and communications with a lot of the people that I met during that time. But anyway, yeah, I forgot where I was. So yeah, I was at a BNI meeting, and I met this guy called Ian, and he was just kind of freelancing himself, and he was new to BNI, and he stood up and he mumbled about Google AdWords and some stuff to do with that, and it didn't get many referrals or anything. But I ended up talking to him at the end, and I said, oh, that sounds interesting. I could do with a few more Wi-Fi clients. I've just got my website set up. Do you want to do some stuff with me? And he was like, yeah, great, I'll set you up a campaign. And he set me up a Google AdWords campaign, and like literally within a day or two, I was getting leads coming in for Wi-Fi clients. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. Why isn't everyone doing this? Why, you know, a lot of companies and businesses struggle to get new clients, and there's this thing called Google AdWords, and you can literally turn it on and get clients straight away. So we kind of built a relationship. He was doing some work for me, and after about a month of that, I thought, right, I don't want to do Wi-Fi anymore. This AdWords is, wow, it's crazy. We need to do that. So I said to him, do you want to do something? You do the work, I'll do the networking, the sales, whatever needs to be done. I'll get some clients in and we'll do this. Long story short, we ended up with an agency in London on Regent Street, servicing clients, doing Google AdWords, Google Analytics, all that kind of stuff. We were one of the leading Google partners. I got to go to Mountain View, the Google offices in California, for a week, and they looked after us. We had a great time and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, it was great. And it ended actually with us taking investment, which was a bad decision in hindsight. But you know, Dragon's Den was on telly at the time, and it all seemed like investment. That's what you want. You know, that's how you grow a company. You get someone into it. Yeah. So because we were running the company quite lean, it was quite modern, and we were just working off laptops. We had a membership club in London off Tottenham Court Road where we kind of did our business. Really nice place and fantastic bar and lunches, and you could just treat your clients really well. And they had boardrooms that you could hire, but the costs were really low because it was just a membership club. You just, if you wanted a boardroom, you just booked it and paid for it there rather than having an office. So we were doing really well. And then when this investor came in, that's when we got the office in Regent Street and all this other stuff, and the overheads just shot up and the company started losing money. And
believing that's the right way to go forward, have a face to the, I totally get that, been there, done that. And I think, you know, from people's point of view, is that it has credibility, but as we've come to realize with the internet, that's the face of our business these days.
Well, actually, the thing was, we didn't probably realize it as much as we should have done at the time, was that our USP, and I hate using the term USP because it's an outdated marketing term from the 50s or 60s, whenever it came up, but it doesn't really apply now. But I think the difference with us and why clients liked us was that we weren't this big flash agency, because they dealt with companies like that, where you go to these flash offices in London, which are obviously costing a fortune, and they have, you know, all this other stuff, but they don't actually deliver much value in terms of, you know, their marketing return, which is what you hire a marketing agency for, to obviously help you get return. So with us, they could see that our costs were low, so therefore our fees were probably a little bit lower, but we were also able to deliver a great return, because you know, you could show with AdWords, you know, you're spending £100, you're getting £1,000 back in business. So we actually pretty destroyed our uniqueness by having an office and trying to be like those other flash agencies that really weren't delivering much value and just had big flash offices. Anyway, again, I learned a lot. The dragon, let's call him the dragon, started saying to me, oh, you know, maybe we start wearing a shirt and a tie and stuff. We used to just be t-shirts, jeans, laptops, whatever, California vibe. And yeah, so there was a conflict there, and the company was losing money, and he said, Alex, I think the problem is you. And I said, oh, maybe it is. Okay, shall I go? Do you want to make me an offer? And he said yes, and he bought my shares in the company, and I waved goodbye and left it at that. And 6 months later, they'd gone out of business, which was a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
But During that journey, I'd met some people that were in affiliate marketing. In fact, one of our clients was a couple of guys that did affiliate marketing, and they were using AdWords to generate affiliate sales, which is actually really hard to do nowadays, but they were able to achieve it, and they were selling some quite high value products, and we helped them with that. But that kind of opened my eyes to affiliate marketing, and I thought, wow, that's the business model. That's the business model, because again, the agency was good, but we did have clients that needed servicing, and they'd take up time. And I always find with clients, they always tend to ring you when you're not available, when you're on holiday, when you're up to your arms and baby nappies or whatever it is you're doing.
Yeah, when it's important to them, and not like every other day of the week where you're in work and
then you're ready for it. It'll be when you've got that evening off, when you're up the pub, when you're on the beach, when you're doing something that you could. Anyway, so affiliate marketing, I saw that was a fantastic thing. And I was also watching a lot of YouTube at the time, and I just was watching the YouTubers making a living off just like vlogging or making videos, and I just thought, wow, that'd be so cool too. So I had a bit of money, because obviously I'd been bought out the company, and I had a bit of time. I was servicing some local clients. Again, I wanted to kind of choose life on my terms. I didn't want to be traveling too much. I was going down to London quite a lot, obviously, with the agency, which is not too bad from here. It's only a 45-minute train journey, but it's still a bit of a chore and takes some time.
Did you feel at that time that it's pulling you along rather than your...
I did. I was out of control with it, and it was it was pulling me in rather than me.
It's meetings, it's meeting clients, it's meeting deadlines, it's doing the necessary reporting and invoicing and everything at the end of the month, and you just feel you're in that cycle.
You're on the hamster wheel, and again, and
exactly.
And so because I had time to stop and think, I decided I don't want to do that. So I had a couple of clients that kind of followed me from there, which maybe they shouldn't have done because of the legal stuff that I signed, but they did. And they were just local to me here, and just managing like their Facebook ads and Google ads, that kind of stuff. Just a handful. And I thought, right, what do I want to do? I thought, well, maybe I could build people WordPress websites. And then I thought, okay, well, but that's a load of effort, and again, clients and hassle and stuff. I did do a little bit of that, to be fair, just to keep me busy. But ultimately, I knew that I wanted to do YouTube.
Right.
I wanted to do YouTube. I wanted to make videos, because that was really cool. So I started making WordPress videos. That's where WP Eagle came from. I thought, I know about WordPress. I can do tutorials. So I started. I think my first video was like how to install WordPress on some hosting.
Can I just put in there?
Yeah.
Was that with the intention of knowing that you could monetize it, or was it just with the intention of desire?
It was mainly desire, but then I also knew in the back of my mind that successful YouTubers do make a lot of money. I hadn't quite figured out how that was going to work. I assumed it would come from ads, from AdSense, that I'd get loads of views and Google would pay me AdSense money. It was only when I did a tutorial on how to create an entire website that suddenly the penny started dropping, and I thought, okay, so if I'm going to show people how to make a website, I need to show them website hosting, I need to show them domain names, I need to show them themes and plugins, and all of those things. If you're using premium ones, which I was recommending, you have to pay for, and all of those things have an affiliate program. So then I suddenly realized, okay, I can do affiliate marketing and YouTube tutorials, and it all fits nicely together.
Synergy.
Because if you want to complete my tutorial, then you're going to have to follow my links and buy the products that I'm recommending. And of course, I was only recommending stuff that I was using myself. I wasn't just looking for random things to promote. They were all companies and things that I was using, like Theme Forest. The web hosting company was called TSO Host at the time, which were good. They're not good anymore. And so I did that video, and I started getting a few affiliate commissions for the hosting and for the domain names, and I just thought, okay, wow, this is really cool. So I started looking into affiliate marketing more, and kind of grew out from there. I did a big tutorial using WooZone, which was quite popular a few years ago, to create Amazon affiliate sites, and that video just kind of exploded. And a lot of people started making those sites. That was one of the videos that Carl Broadbent watched that we were talking about earlier, and he created one of those sites.
And just to frame a sort of reference here, when was this?
That video would be 2000. I could probably look, but it's about 2019. It might be even before.
Right. Okay. So it's fairly recent then.
It might be longer than that. I'm pretty bad at.
It's a good idea, because I mean, you and I know, living in this digital world now, it changes at such an exponential rate. Like affiliate programs, there are tons of them out there now, whereas they weren't so, so abundant back then. Same then being like in an agency and realizing clients that they are hard work. It's easier to go and be the client yourself and do your own portfolio, but you can see how the scales are tipping more.
Yeah, that's right. No, that was 2018, but I think I probably did one before then, 2017, so it might be that kind of time frame. So yeah, that did really well, and I was promoting HostGator at the time, which again I wouldn't recommend now. They're not the best. So I did just do a video on them earlier this week, and well, they weren't too bad. But I was promoting them. They had a fantastic affiliate offer where you could give out a coupon code, and people could sign up and get hosting for a penny, and then they'd pay you. I can't remember the exact figure, but it was like $50 or $60 as an affiliate, and yeah, and it was, the coupon codes are really good for YouTube because not everyone tends to follow links from YouTube. They might hear you say go and check out HostGator, and then they just type it in. But with the coupon code, they're going to use it. So yeah, that was really good, and that went really well. And from there, my channel just grew up, and I got the community started to build, and doing lots of other affiliate projects, and it kind of steered my channel into more affiliate stuff. Still very WordPress themed, because WordPress is an essential part of affiliate marketing. I think it's a great way to build a site, and I also think that having skills like how to use WordPress, how to create a WordPress website, if you can do that, then you're going to be okay.
I
can build your own stuff, you can build other people's stuff.
I speak to lots of business owners, and it is that I had a very good client years ago, Russell Armstrong, his name was, and his simple saying, you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't know WordPress when I first came to it. I started on Magento of all things, start at the top and work down something easier. But I've worked on so many CMS platforms that WordPress has been the best. And I know that there are lots of people that slate it because it's bloat heavy and what have you. But in reality, I think it always depends on what you want to do with it.
Yeah, exactly. It does. But I think it's really versatile, and it's changed a lot. I first saw WordPress when I was to have my agency, because we had the problem when we were doing Google AdWords campaigns where you'd create a fantastic Google AdWords campaign for a client and they'd have a really horrible website. So you'd send loads of traffic to this website and it just wouldn't convert because the website was so bad. So we'd go back and say, okay, you need some landing pages. This campaign would work so much better with some landing pages. We're promoting, I don't know, accountants in Bedford, or we're doing tax returns, let's say, in Bedford. That's the keywords that we're bidding on. So we need a good page on your website about your tax return service, and we'll have some testimonials and a form and on the page, and it will work fantastically, rather than sending people to your homepage and then you haven't really got much information on tax returns and just a horrible contact us page. And they'd go, okay, let me go back to the web development company, and then they come back and say, the web development company said they can do that, but it's going to cost £2,000 and it's going to take about 3 months. And like, what? No, really? What? And so we ended up kind of building these WordPress sites for clients, like as a supplementary landing page thing, just to kind of bypass the web development company. And I had the same experience as well when I was buying websites for, even when I had the Wi-Fi company and I wanted a website, just dealing with these difficult web developers that had bespoke systems, and everything would take ages and cost lots of money. And when I saw WordPress, it was such a breath of fresh air that there was all these themes that were ready to go and plugins, and you could just get stuff done so much quicker and so much cheaper.
And see, I think the problem there, and I mean, I was a scoping manager for 2 years with a web development team, and I'm not going to slate them. All I'm going to say is they always had more hair than me, and cooler t-shirts. But there are great web developers out there. The problem is that if you become a purist within your own environment, you forget how it's relevant to the wider picture. And I think this is where affiliate marketing has really opened the eyes, alongside things like SEO, where you realize, so content's relevant to affiliate, SEO is relevant to content, building websites is relevant to doing content. You have to go out your comfort zone. You have to learn the other things that make the whole equation.
They're all connected,
And I think that was the problem with a lot of web developers, is that they didn't want to know about content writing, just provide it to me. They didn't want to know about SEO, that was someone else's job. And I think that mindset has massively changed now.
And AdWords and traffic, that's all different. We don't do that, we just do the techie development stuff.
But I worked in one agency, and they were very much that fixed mindset. I did my job, you did your job, and they never really communicated.
The synergy,
Whereas now as affiliate or SEO or anything in digital marketing, you have to wear many hats.
Yeah, you do. because they're all joined together, and you need to, one works with the other, and if you haven't got one right, then it's going to affect everything else.
Yeah. And we all bow down to the master that is Google.
Yeah, we still do even after all these years.
Yeah, but I don't know if that'll ever change, but it's an interesting journey, more so since they've brought out so many algorithm changes. But I think the fundamental one for me that really hit home and said about common sense was the EAT policy.
Yeah.
Yes, these are authority and trust, because that really harks back to what you were talking about there, is knowing that you're writing about what's relevant to those accountants.
Yeah.
And because 9 times out of 10 people don't come to a homepage, they come to a service page.
Yeah.
So it's educating the wider audience.
Thinking about who's going to be landing on this page and what are they looking for, and how can I address their needs and whatever it is they're searching for. And a lot of people don't think about that. They, especially back in a few years ago when they were designing a website, they would just focus on themselves. Okay, this is our company. What do we want to tell everyone about? This is our history, and get the team page up and all this other stuff. And you know, no one's looking at that stuff. I'm afraid most people
are, wasn't it?
Yeah, most people are coming in because they want to know, can you fix a problem for them, and how are you going to do it, and you need to answer it really quickly. And yeah, I think that that's just, people are becoming more educated in terms of what they need to do online in order to succeed. And yeah, I mean, Google has changed over the years. I mean, I've been working with Google now for so many years, and I don't think the search results are getting any better. If anything, I think they're getting worse. I don't know. I think they favor now bigger sites and branded sites. And I think back in the old days of the internet, Alta Vista and all those search engines, when you did a search, who knows what you were going to find? There'd be little sites coming up, random parts of the internet that you would never discovered. Now I feel with Google, you don't find those parts of the internet anymore. If you do a search, it always wants to send you to a really big established branded site rather than a smaller, more random site.
But I mean, if you put the shoe on the other foot, if you were Google, you know it's a hard road to travel. How are you going to serve the intent of the person who's typing in that search query box and know exactly what they're after? No, obviously, when you hark back to 2018, where they only just come up with BERT, so they've got the ability to read backwards. Hey, humans can do that. We can read backwards, forwards. We can pick out any particular word. We can skip read. We can do things that machine or AI learning, and we got loads of that. We'll talk about that in a minute. You can't replace a human. A human could do things that machines that are built on maths can be beaten with maths will never do. So they might do them faster, they might do them more efficiently, but I also think that the intent will always be stronger with a human, because when we drop words in, and that changes from country and dialect and stuff like that, has different meaning. And even we can struggle sometimes, but we can, you know, pick our way through it and understand conversation. For Google to do that, I think that's a big ask. So I do see it better than what it was 10 years ago in the sense of, when you type into the search query box, you tend to get something that serves your intent, or it doesn't exist.
You're right.
There are many holes still on the internet. I honestly think that the Medic update that came in 2018 was very much that of making sure, where are we going with the internet in the next couple of years? So if you were an agency, you know what agencies were like. We're a graphic design agency, we're a creative agency, we're an SEO agent. You can't be everything. You can only be one thing and then have related skills. And that's kind of where the internet wants to serve up the right content. So if you, like you have now with your Roofbox one, if it's the leader in the reviews for roof boxes, why shouldn't that be page one, position one? Or somewhere on page one anyway.
It generally was, because there wasn't much more competition. But going back to the Medic update, I think that's an interesting change. So now when you're feeling a little bit ill, or you got something you want to look up from a medical point of view, you do a search on Google, it will generally serve maybe 5 or 6 websites that it trusts. That's it, that are written by doctors. I guess they're verified doctors. Whereas I think a few years ago, when you would type in some symptoms, you'd find a couple of those sites, but you'd also find forums and discussions. So other people may be talking about the similar symptoms and saying, oh, I think it's this, or I've had this, and whatever. I think a lot of that's disappeared now. It all has to come from a trusted source. And I don't know whether that's because there's been a lot of misinformation out there, and Google doesn't want to serve misinformation, especially when it comes to medical stuff.
What you're saying, like SEO managers and affiliate marketers, mean distorting the internet. So
maybe, I don't know. I guess they need to be careful.
I mean, I get that. I mean, you look at like the tier 2 links that are done these days, is that they don't want you just to do link building for the sake of it. They want to see the activity behind those links. And therefore, looking at like those medical, because I work for Caltech who do probiotics, and we are constantly being beaten by the science journals, the studies, the medical industry. But then, as you said, the clinicians, the nutritionalists, the doctors are writing for them, but then they've got a history on another website and another website and another website.
Yeah.
So that sort of credibility justifiably then brings the right information forward. The difficulty is then it reads like treacle.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's not always what you're looking for. That that
No,
massive thesis on some study they did on a particular condition or whatever.
you come away having read that and thinking, I'm none the bloody wiser, but I do know a few more Latin terms.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know.
So where do you see it going forward then? The internet?
The internet. Oh, I don't know. I think AI is definitely going to have a big effect on the internet. I'm not sure in what way. I think it's going to help in terms of the tools that are available to business owners, to entrepreneurs, affiliate marketers.
Yeah.
We touched on AI a minute ago, like Jarvis, the AI copywriting and copywriting tools like that. I think they have great potential. I also think graphic design as well. I think AI could have a big part in that and allow everyone to become a graphic designer. I think I can already hear writers and graphic designers going, no, we're not going to be replaced by a computer.
Yeah, but they're relevant, aren't they? Because
Yeah.
when you think that they're linked through the alt tags and the descriptions, and Search Console introduced it a little while ago that you can rank via your images, not just the URL.
Yeah,
it's relevant. It's
it
relevant
is.
because I do. I mean, it's personal taste, but I search via images an awful lot.
Yeah, and they come up quite a lot at the top of Google, and they're served as part of the mixed results. So, but I think in terms of traditionally when you wanted graphics, you'd go to a graphic designer and they charge you a few quid for a logo or a whatever banner it is you want. Now I think that stuff you can do yourself.
Yeah,
and I think AI might help with that. You just kind of say, I want this and that. I want a banner that says this and it's these colors and it's got this button and it goes and designs you 10 and you go, yeah, that one.
Yeah,
I think that's going to happen. Equally with video, I think there's like tools like Vidnami, which are being closed down, unfortunately, by GoDaddy, but where you can just give it like an article or some bullet points and it will go and create you a video and a little bit of editing here and there. You've got a fantastic video. And yeah, going back to like tools like Jarvis.ai and Copy.ai and all those things, I think they're there to help the kind of one-man band, the entrepreneur, the affiliate marketer, kind of have these extra skills, because we're not all writers, we're not all graphic designers, we're not all video editors, but we need to do all those things. And of course you can outsource those processes, but I think maybe AI is going to take up a lot of that slack. And yeah, is this going to affect people's work? I think graphic designers especially, and maybe writers, if they don't adjust, they are going to be in trouble. Because I think
personally, I don't. I mean, I'm playing with a couple of tools. Jarvis I got as well, and I upgraded to the boss mode. And to be honest, I mean, there's about like 30 AI writing tools out there at the moment, and I'm slowly trickling through a few of them. I've found others to be more effective than Jarvis sometimes, but I do think that depends on the topic.
Yeah, I think definitely. I think Jarvis needs a bit of work, and I was trying out Closer's copy yesterday. Was it yesterday? Yeah, and that was pretty good. And in fact, I had Jarvis and Closer's copy next to each other, and both of them actually started badly. We were trying to write about meals for slow cookers, just as a random article idea, and they both got stuck. But then suddenly they both managed to get going, and Closer's copy was really impressive, and in fact started to write an entire article, listed off 10 fantastic ideas for meals that you can do in a slow cooker, then went on to kind of explain about them, give a recipe, give the method. And it had a 2,000 word article with 10 meals that you can create in a slow cooker with recipes. I mean, I never tested the recipes, I don't know what they're like, but it looks pretty good.
There's a little, but okay, so 2 questions here then, or 2 observations as such. So I notice it already with the AI tools, is they're not there to replace your content writers. They're actually there to get you, more so if you've got content writers or VAs, that you get on the same page. So you develop the intent, the heading, the subheadings, and Jarvis can do that, but there's others that do it much more comfortably, like use topics or any word. They provide nice, relatable. They
give you like the structure,
yeah, and I think that provides more context then for the end user. Now, the other part of that observation then is, once we know that's the way it's going forward, and I do honestly believe that AI will creep into any content writer, whether they're doing curated or original content. That will just happen. Is how do you feel that will work into your day-to-day workload? Because I don't think you'll be completely hands off, though, would you?
No, I wouldn't know. I think it's just an extra tool to help you overcome writer's block, to help you with a structure, to help you get flowing. I don't think any of these tools are going to replace
Yeah.
The human intervention. And I think that's where graphic designers and writers and videographers and all those people that might be fearful of these technologies actually need to embrace them and see them as an extra tool in your arsenal, and allow you to create graphics at a much more efficient in a much more efficient way, so you don't have to charge clients as much. You're able to deliver them a lot quicker. You're able maybe to deliver more variations. Just embrace them. And in fact, you know, if I was a writer now, I'd maybe market myself as a writer with an AI tool, so I'm able to deliver content, you know, a much quicker way. In a
That was going to be one of my questions. How would you describe your job role?
I don't. I always
It's a
struggle
heavy
with that.
loaded question.
Whenever you get those forms and it says occupation, what on earth do you put?
Yeah.
You can't put YouTuber. They went like that. Marketeer. I often just put something vague like that. Marketeer or consultant.
Yeah.
I don't know, probably marketeer.
Because you know the next question coming is, so what's that involve?
Yeah.
And then that's a long conversation, and you're thinking, I don't think they got it.
No. Try and explain it. I don't know.
Okay, right. So we know that, like, from affiliate marketing point of view, it's really going through a surgence at the moment. Lots of people do it, myself included. As an affiliate marketer yourself, what do you see as a unique quality in yourself that probably sets you apart from others out there?
Oh, that's a good question. I think the main thing is you need to have a mindset where you have the confidence in yourself that you can learn a new skill, whatever that may be, and that you have the capacity within you to be able to do it. So example of that would be, you know, a lot of people, when I'm talking to them about what I do, they go, oh, I can't do that. And it's like, you can do. Well, I've got nothing special. I didn't go to university. I'm, you know, I'd say I'm of average intelligence. But yeah, I can use a keyboard and a mouse, and I can watch a video on YouTube and learn how to do something. And more importantly, actually, I'm willing to try. I think that's the main thing. Just try.
That's the main skill.
Yeah, just try. And I don't care if I fail. Yeah. Remember, Google always used to bang on their little soundbite was, there's no failure, only feedback. So I kind of live by that motto, that you just jump in with both feet. You go, right, I'm going to create a website. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? And you build something, and it might not look particularly good. It might not work. It might crash. It might have some problems. But you just got to keep going and learn from that, and you'll get better. And the same with anything. Like if you go back to my very first videos, they're horrendous. Yeah. The camera's off, the lighting's off, the editing is horrendous, the sound is horrible. But, you know, over time.
But now you rap.
Yeah. I don't know if I was rapping back then. So maybe they were better in a way. But yeah, they get better over time. And with anything, I think, if you just jump in and if you just start, and if you have that mindset that you can do it and you will be able to do it, then you're fine. And I think that's what actually is stopping most people from actually changing their life, is not a lack of skills, because, you know, I didn't know how to do any of this when I started. We just make it up as we go along, most of it. And
it is exactly that. I don't know, I'll have a go.
Exactly. So if you could just go with that, then you'll be surprised what you can do and what you can learn. And before you know it, 5 years later, you've become an expert.
Yeah. I was just watching the one, I got Amelia and Chris.
Oh, yeah.
In their battle.
Yeah, the cage fight.
Yeah, and they've set their ground rules, and I quite like that. But again, it's the unknown. That's the enjoyment of it. Yeah. Is that, you know, you'll get a result, but to what degree? And can you beat the next person? You know, I've seen that in the SEO field a couple of times, where they've taken a subject like rhinoplasty, and can they be number one, page one, number one in 30 days?
And those kind of little challenges are great. And when you do start, so when you upload your first YouTube video, when you create an affiliate website, and, you know, you start to get some traffic, you start to get some views, you get your first sale. I mean, the buzz you get off that is phenomenal.
Yeah, because you know the hard work that went in it directly from your effort.
Yeah,
but I think that's the entrepreneurial spirit, is that you took an idea and you formalized it and you made something out of it.
Yeah,
And I think that's the fundamental skill that's within all affiliate marketers, that they don't necessarily realize they're true entrepreneurs
they
in
create
what they
something from
do.
nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, because you'll always look at the problem and try and fix it. Okay, so that sort of brings me on to my next sort of question then is, I know that you've made quite a few sites. I know you're doing the wheel along at the moment,
Yeah.
and I know you're dabbling in different things, more so testing the AI tools. You have an imminent move coming up as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
hopefully.
so what sort of advice would you give to anybody thinking of picking a niche and starting in affiliate marketing?
Um, just start with something. I think people get stuck on the niche or the niche selection.
Right.
All the niches that I've used, and in fact, my most successful niche came about by accident, I'd say, maybe. Like the roof box one, it came about because I was buying a roof box for my car and did a few Google searches, found there wasn't a lot of information about the particular make and model of car that I had with regards to roof boxes. And, spotted on Amazon that roof boxes aren't particularly cheap.
Yeah.
And so I created a site on that. And then the wheel along one, just again, quite random. But I'd say draw on your whatever you like. That's always a good place to start.
Yeah.
You're going to create a site if you're into something and you're able to create content, because it's all going to come down to the quality of the content. If you're into fishing, let's say,
Yeah.
and you've got a stack of rods and you're always getting new bits of gear, that would be perfect, because you can add your take on it. You can create real content where you've got the products in your hands, maybe make videos, that kind of thing, and it will work really well. Of course, we
Yeah.
don't all have hobbies like
Because all
that.
people on some part of that journey,
Mm,
from the beginner to the expert.
that's right.
So there's always something that will be intrigued by it. I always use the analogy that you either love or hate football. If you love football, you'll read 400 pages on it. If you hate football, you're never going to read one page.
Yeah.
So I kind of think that's the same with the affiliate. I mean, my own, and I'll show it sometime to you, is on weeds, and I only did it purely because I had Japanese knotweed in the bottom of my garden. So I started a affiliate site on that with the intention of, can I buy the products? Can I do a review, and then see how it goes from there? But it sort of snowballed, because
Wow, that's an
then you
interesting niche.
suddenly
Yeah.
realize, from a point of something that's relevant, I've learned a lot more about weeds. Hence the reason when I was talking about Jarvis earlier, I was trying to write about Himalayan honeysuckle earlier. Oh my gosh, that is such a hard subject to
Wow.
write about.
Yeah. I don't know how much Jarvis knows about that one.
But
Interesting.
then that's the beauty of seeing the AI, is you're pushing it to the end. You're seeing what it's capable of doing.
Yeah, that sounds like a good niche. But yeah, I mean, if you can't draw on any of your own passions or topics, then it's just a case of heading over to Amazon maybe and having a look at what products there. Also looking at the Amazon commission rates, because they vary depending on the products you want to promote. Or maybe you don't want to promote Amazon. Maybe there's something else. So for example, like what I did with WP Eagle. Maybe
Yeah.
you're into making websites, or maybe you're into doing something with software, and you can create content around that, because they're always good products to promote.
Which leads us quite nicely onto the theme you've just made.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, we've just ventured into software. We've created a WordPress theme. Myself, Carl Broadbent, another YouTuber, and Phil, who's my server manager guy. He's got a hosting company. And yeah, we wanted to create a WordPress theme, mainly just to help us with our sites, and because I'm always stuck in terms of which theme to use for sites. I've used lots of different ones, and they're all good to a certain degree, but we just wanted something super fast, super quick, and designed with affiliate marketers in mind, and something that we can, when we want a certain feature or functionality, we can just get it done. So yeah, the theme's called Popcorn Theme. You can find it at popcorntheme.com. I've created a demo site, which again, I fell into that. So we created the site, we created the theme, we needed a name.
Yeah.
Carl Broadbent, there's like an ongoing joke where someone accidentally mistyped his name and they call him Corn Broadband. So I thought corn, okay, we need to go down the corn vibe. The theme is really fast, it kind of pops.
Yeah.
So popcorn came about. So
See
then
the digital marketer coming out of you now?
Yeah. So then we needed
selling the branding and the concept, having already done it.
Yeah.
The spin is coming. I love that. That's brilliant.
So and then we needed a demo site. So I was like, okay, well, let's just go into the popcorn niche.
Yeah.
So I've set up bestcornpopper.com. So it's all about popcorn machines and popcorn stuff. Carl has got
And it
a
looks
keyword.
nice. It does look
Yeah.
nice. I've got to be honest, and the speed is there. My only question really on that, apologies, is will you be pushing that as an affiliate site? It
No,
seems
yeah, I am.
worthwhile to.
It was going to be just a bit of a laugh, a bit of a demo site. But as I was adding the content, I had Carl, he's got a keyword service called keywordcare.com, where if you don't want to do any keyword research yourself, in terms of coming up with ideas for articles and ideas for content, he'll send you over like a list of keywords fully researched. And so he did that for me, and he came up with, I don't know, maybe 30 keywords and ideas. I sent them all off to my writers and got the content back. The content was actually really good, and I thought, hang on, there's might be some legs to this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to use it as a case study. So now I'm in the popcorn niche. I just had a load more content ordered. The site is already starting to rank not well. I mean, it's page 2 or 3 when you do searches for like, can you eat popcorn with braces? Right, another which you think would be your money or your life, but it's
the thing, isn't it? It educate the very interesting thing sometimes with affiliate marketing is it presents questions to you never have even thought of.
no. I never thought about that, but yeah, and like, why does my popcorn not pop? What's the best vintage popcorn makers for cinema, home cinema, those kind of things. So yeah, we've just recently, or just today, maybe yesterday, gone live with the Zoic on the site, which are ads. So going to be testing that to see what effect that has on performance and that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's just another little adventure, and I'm going to be documenting the progress on that site as and when stuff happens.
Yeah. Okay. So Zoic, you talk about obviously Zoic is a ads platform. What's your opinion then when it comes to how many ads to have on there versus the user experience?
I don't know. I'm still kind of mixed on this. Personally, I don't like ads on sites really. But I understand they're a great way to monetize. I've made most of my money from my sites from the affiliate links. So I'm always got this kind of niggling in my mind that if I had too many ads, I'm going to detract from the content, which in turn is going to detract from the links. But, I also know a lot of people like Ron Stefanski, the 1 Hour Professor. He's on YouTube. He's worth watching. Had a good chat with him a few times, and he has made a lot of money from just sites with just ads, no affiliate, just content and ads, and lots of ads. And people still go to the sites, read the content, click the ads, and he's made a lot of money. So
do you think it's a case of it depends on what the niche is?
I think it does. I think it depends on the niche. I think it depends on the site. I think it depends on the content.
Yeah.
I'm kind of drawn or steering towards that if you've got a lot of informational content where it's like, can you eat popcorn with braces, rather than the best microwave popcorn machines.
Yeah.
One of those, the braces one, is probably best for ads. Yeah. The best microwave popcorn machines.
Unless, of course, you like showing lots of people with popcorn stuck in their braces.
Yeah.
Never know.
So, yeah, I think it depends on the content. I think you've just got to be careful with the kind of ad companies like Zoic and Mediavine and that, because if you're not careful, they will plaster your site with as many ads as possible.
Yeah.
And, your visitors will have to search for the content because there'll be so many ads.
Start looking more like a news site rather than an informational
site.
site.
And I think a lot of sites, even big sites, are guilty of too many ads.
Yeah.
Just to squeeze a few extra cents out. And I've experimented when I had Best Roof Box by turning off a lot of ad units because I just felt there was too many. And in terms of the effects on the earnings, it was kind of negligible. Right. I think you can still make some money off ads without.
But I think that leads then to that sort of ethical or moral dilemma of you want to serve up good content on a nice, aesthetically pleasing site, as opposed to it's laden by every ad under the sun.
Yeah,
purely
I think there is a balance there.
Else.
I think done right, the ads can complement what you're doing.
Yeah.
I think done wrong, it just looks like a dog's dinner.
Yes.
Interestingly, though, when I sold Best Roof Box, the first thing the buyer said was, "Can you take Zoic off, please?"
Yeah. And I do think it's personal preference.
And the site, it was pulling in some months $400 from Zoic, so
Yeah. But I suppose it's having that vision of what you think the site should be.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got that now where I've bought the site off Carl, and I think it complements one of my other sites quite nicely in a different direction, so that while I'm doing the research here, I can be using some of the research for that to answer that intent. But I don't think I would be doing much in the way of ads.
No.
Because I think it's in the cooking field, it is, because that will be heavily linked to content and image, content, image, I think that the flow will be there. If you put the ads in there, it could be
Yeah,
a
it could break that.
disruptor.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So my next question then is, what does your average day look like now that you do this full time?
Well, every day's different.
Is it wake up at 10 a.m.?
No, unfortunately, I've got children, so that's that out of the window. It's get up, sort the kids out, do the school runs, all that kind of stuff. It's only when the kids are out of the house that then I might sit down and do some work. I generally try to focus on the big stuff first, although I'm particularly bad at that. So I'm guilty of firing up my email and things like that and getting stuck in there for a couple of hours and destroying the best part of the morning on that. On a good day, I will know, okay, today I'm going to create a video on this and that, and then I will sit down and I'll fire the camera up and I won't look at email, social media, all that kind of stuff. Even go near YouTube, which is a problem for me because obviously I like to go to YouTube to check my creator dashboard and all that stuff, answer comments. But generally I go via the homepage, and then YouTube is fantastic at saying, you want to watch this video, and it will be the thumbnail will be so catchy and the name of it will be too catchy. I'll have to watch it, and again,
then
an hour's gone.
You've got another dozen ideas then.
Yeah, and I've just gone down the YouTube wormhole and watching videos. So yeah, on a productive day, I'll just crack on and create something and get on and, ideally a video. I like to try and do a video in the morning or at least earlier in the day when I've got a bit more energy and that kind of thing, and leave the other stuff for the evening. So yeah, I'll work until maybe 3:30 when the kids get home from school. Then I'll spend time with the kids and make the dinners and all that kind of stuff, and that will go until bedtime, which might be till 8 o'clock. And then I'll go back and do some more work in the evening if I want to. I generally do. Sometimes it's in here in the office, sometimes I'll just do it on the sofa downstairs with the wife watching TV. So and I think that's the main thing that I love about.
There's always that drive, isn't there?
Yeah, there's the drive to do it, but then there's also the freedom to be able to spend time with your family, your pets, your wife, whatever it is. And that's the most important thing with what we do. It's a lot of people maybe think about affiliate marketing and all this. It's all about the money. It's about earning tons of money, driving fast cars and stuff, because that's what a lot of the gurus kind of portray that it's about. But actually, the biggest benefit, I think personally, is the amount of time and freedom and flexibility that this kind of business gives you.
Yeah. Rather than the formatic approach that you have working for someone else 9 to 5, and then you've got to get time off or take it as holidays. Which becomes, a bit of a ball ache by all accounts.
And you don't see, if you've got children, especially, I think that's when it really hits home. When you are working for someone else, maybe at an office. I mean, I don't know if people still go to office. I think they're slowly going back after COVID. But when you are missing out on them going to school, just coming back from school, and you maybe come in and they're just going to bed, and you hardly see your children, and then 10 years go by and you suddenly go, oh my God, I've missed it, it's gone, because they don't stay little for long.
No, and I came to realize that personally myself when I set up my own company, just as the little one was being born, and I run that for 12 years, and it used to take me evenings and weekends away, and it was deadlines, so there was no choice, it had to be done. But then you suddenly realize the rest of the family going off for a lovely barbecue weekend. I've got a full weekend because I run a lithographic printers. I got a full weekend of just printing and finishing to make sure something's ready for Monday, as was agreed. So you come to realize it a little bit too late. I mean, I do, like, from my own perspective now, my kids are a little bit more grown up, but I find that I still work hard nowadays, but I have more flexibility in how I move things around.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I'm not saying there's no work involved. There certainly is a lot of hard work involved. Although again, I mean, that's all perspective. Hard work. I see, the bin men out there dragging wheelie bins around at 6 o'clock in the morning. I see, people working on the road. I had a roofer guy come round to fix my leaky roof. He was up on the roof in the blazing sun for 8 hours fixing the roof. That's hard work. Always hard work involved.
Every job is hard work. It's just that you see more sort of quantifiable in the sense of that looks bloody hard work. And there's blood, sweat and tears in a lot of that work. Making a YouTube video in comparison, or writing an article or creating a WordPress site, probably isn't as hard as being on top of a scaffolding for 8 hours fixing a roof. I think the stress level is a lot less.
And I just think, or
working
and digging a hole for
a bloody good thing not to have.
And I see like carers and that going into our neighbours looking
Yeah.
after an old lady, and I think, you know, that's hard work as well, and there's
Yeah.
a lot to it. So yeah, there's hard work involved working for yourself, but it's on your terms, and it's
we're,
not as
we're
hard
all
as some
we're
stuff.
all cogs in the machine, as it were. We're
Yeah,
all we're all reliant on everyone else to make sure everything moves forward. And COVID is a beautiful example of that, where everything suddenly comes to a stop. Getting that dynamo back working again has been hard and will be hard for some considerable amount of time. You've seen that with Pingdom at the moment, and
yeah,
with obviously the empty shelves, and the news just today talking about like they'll make exceptions because these people are strategic key workers. Now, I love how they come up with new terms,
yeah,
which is great for us, because then we can just do a new website on strategic key worker benefits,
yeah,
and then
exactly.
pound to a penny, someone's going to write some content on it. But I think that from what the angle I'm coming from, for people who watch this video who are maybe still within that 9 to 5 or some sort of fixed framework and trying to think, well, I want to move to that more flexible lifestyle, what sort of advice would you give them from the journey that you traveled and how you got there?
Okay, well, I've not been stuck in a job. Well, I wasn't stuck in a job when I transitioned, but I would say a lot of people, um, you know, they get in from, they've done, end of the day, you've done a hard day's work for someone else, building their dreams, building their business, and you get in and you're probably tired and you just really can't face doing anything. You just want to grab a beer, slump down in front of the TV, just chill out before bed. But unfortunately, if you really do want to change your life and you want to transition out of that lifestyle of working for someone else, giving them the best part of your day, you're going to have to use that time outside of those 9 to 5. So that is going to be the evenings, that is going to be the weekends.
Yeah.
And it's going to be those things that you do in that time that's going to change your life, because the stuff you're doing during the 9 to 5, that's for someone else. That's not really going to have much effect on what you're doing. I mean, you might go through a few pay grades, but that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be finding the energy and the inclination to work on those evenings and weekends. A great example of this is Hasta La Vista Boss. Again, Adrian, who's got a channel, he's kind of stopped on the content creation a little bit because he was stretching himself too thin. But he was a great example of, he'd go down and work at Luton Airport, which is just up the road from here, where they're doing a load of building work, driving one of those massive cranes for 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
You know, when he'd have started at 5 or 6 in the morning and then get in the evening and then still do a YouTube live stream, publish a YouTube video, work on his affiliate sites. You know, he was doing too much, and he's realized this now, and he's focusing more on just on his affiliate sites. But he's a great example of someone that does the day shift and then still is able to find the energy and inclination to work on the evening and the weekend. And you know, it seems hard, but again, going back to what I was saying earlier, if you can just start, you'll find that you can get motivation. When you publish your first website, when you create your first article, that will give you enough buzz and energy to keep pushing you forward. And the satisfaction of creating something, the feeling that gives you, will drive you forward.
Yeah. And it's developing those habits.
Yeah.
So you get used to, right, I'll get the laptop out now, I'm going to watch something on TV, I can write something for an hour, 2 hours.
Yeah.
I think Amelia Gardner mentioned it on one of her videos not so long ago. She said, sometimes once I put the kids to bed and I'm sitting down at 10 o'clock, I'm not doing my best work.
No,
but she's working. I mean,
that's true. No, it's not always your best work, but at least it's something.
Yeah, exactly. And I think every little bit, the cumulative effect of it then moves the needle. And that's kind of what
I hear people that get up, they set their alarm clock an hour or two earlier and do that. Maybe, you know, working on your commute or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Just finding those bits of free time that you've got, using them to try and do something. And hopefully, you know, once you start getting something going, you can then transition and do less work for someone else and more work for yourself.
That's the plan. That's the plan. But to be honest, that does actually work. I've done it quite a bit, but I've still kept towards the client side purely because there's demand there, and it took 30 years to build that up. So to sort of walk away from that now would be a bit.
It's a bit scary.
Yeah, well, yeah, yes and no, because I've been self-employed for like a good number of years, over 12 years. So I'm not too worried by that, but it's the case of, it's nice to do that. And I think there's a little bit of that shiny object syndrome. I like what they're doing there because it's a lovely challenge, and that'll look good on the CV, and it'll teach me something, and that'll be good. And then that's the danger.
Yeah, that is a danger. I mean, I took a decision a few years ago because I had clients. I did build WordPress websites and things for people, and I've had hosting clients. But I got to a point where I thought, okay, when a client would email me and say, okay, we're looking to do a new website, are you interested? Do you want to do it for us? I'd have to think, you know, and it could be a chunk of money, I'd stop and think. I go, is that what I want to do?
Yeah.
No, I don't want to do that. I want to do my YouTube. I want to do my affiliate stuff. So I'd have to say, sorry, no, I'm not doing websites anymore. I can't help you. I can recommend some people that could help you with that, but yeah, I'm going to walk away. And it took a long time to get to that point, because you know the project, it might be £10,000 project, it might be more, and
Yeah,
but then I also know there's a lot of headache. There's back and forth, there's creating this, I don't want any of that. That's not what I want to do.
But that said, then you kind of opened up the next question. Then is, you have goals. So obviously you're prioritizing client or your own. You have goals. What sort of goals do
Only
you have
very
for the
loose
next
goals. I
couple of years?
know. You just got to figure out and be very clear in your mind. This is what I do anyway. What do I want to do? What do I actually want to do?
Like any of
And
us.
all the other stuff, if that stuff that you're doing, other stuff that's you don't want to do, then you need to try and stop doing that and try and do some more stuff. And that's in terms of goals and monetary goals. I've never really been one. I remember when I had the agency, we used to say, oh, we need to get the earnings up to this kind of amount a month, whatever. But at the moment, I know how much I need to earn, and as long as I'm doing more than that, then I'm happy. I don't have any big, huge ambition goals in terms of I want to be earning £1 million by the time I'm 50 or whatever.
I think
None of that stuff.
Steve Jobs said it, didn't he? As if money becomes your goal, you'll miss out on the fun.
Yeah.
And we should educate from a point of view of fun.
Yeah.
And we don't. We
want to do what I
educate
want to
more and
do.
more academically towards there. Whereas I think it's Sir Ken Robinson, who does one of the best TED Talks out there for 30 years, has been saying we don't identify the skills in individuals. We just turn out clones. So
yeah.
That's the bigger. That's another podcast.
That's
on
what
the
school
education
does. So yeah,
system.
that is another.
We won't go there. That's
issue.
a powder keg.
Yeah. So I have mini goals in terms of what I want to try and achieve in a week.
Yeah.
And my kind of ongoing goals, like I want to try and put something on YouTube every day. That's my goal, whatever that may be, whether it be a live stream, a video, or a short.
Yeah.
Just little things like that, and I can kind of measure where I'm at with that and how, if I'm hitting that or not.
Okay, and I get that. So therefore, within your mindset, maybe it's quite loose. You've got a goal, you've got objectives, and you've got the ability to create content all the time. Do you formalize that through any sort of tools at all? Any project management tools?
No, I have a spreadsheet with a notes document with a list of video ideas that I sketch down whenever I can.
Right.
I am trying to add more processes to that, because I know that if I want to take my content up, I need that in place. So I've taken on a VA, which has helped a lot. And I found this in the past before. If you can just outsource some of the stuff and get a little bit of a team around you,
yeah, it
just really can exponentially push you forward. So I've got a VA. I've got someone who's helping me with the shorts, because I know that. So I do at least two live streams a week, a Tuesday evening one and a Thursday afternoon one, sometimes a Friday, depends how it goes. And during these streams, a bit like this conversation we're having now, I feel that we've said a few things that might be interesting and useful to some people.
Yeah,
there might have been a minute or so back where we were talking about something that might have been useful, and if that could be cut up into little things. And I just think, again, the way the internet's going and the way people are, they don't tend to watch hour-long videos.
Yeah.
They like to watch a 30-second, 60-second nugget of information that can be useful. So I knew that there was these nuggets within my content, as they're probably going to be in your content. And I just needed an efficient way for someone to go through and extract those nuggets. So I've taken on someone who does that, who has the unfortunate job of trawling through all my old content and picking out the nuggets. And
you don't guide them at all, then, do you?
What's that?
You don't guide them at all, do you?
We do a little bit. I've started to. So trying to, again, with the help of my VA who watches the live streams with me, if something funny, something interesting, something useful does happen, she makes a note of the timestamp so that we can at least kind of guide them.
No, and that makes sense. And in that very essence, you've mentioned, like, the way that people are viewing or digesting content these days. They'd rather watch it as opposed to read it sometimes. TikTok has massively blown up, as we know. YouTube have obviously fought back with their shorts. But I think it all alludes to the common sense of those knowledge bombs are the things that we've always found around us. And it's just presenting them in a much more concise, quicker way. I think ideally, it's a nice way for new and existing watchers or readers to engage with the content, and then if they like the flavour and the value it conveys, then they'll watch it all.
Yeah.
So that's almost like a trailer to a film. That's what I'm
Yeah,
trying to
it's
get
just a
to.
little snippet. And you go, oh, that's
Yeah,
interesting. That sounds like fun. I like the look of that guy. I'll watch some more stuff. I think just where content's been, and you'll know this from an SEO point of view, and it's still a question I get asked all the time. How long should I write my articles? How many words should my articles be? How many words does Google like? And I think
yeah,
we've been obsessed with word count, and we want to write about a particular subject. We know what we want to say, and then we think of a whole load of fluff. We think of a big long introduction. We try and pad it out. We want to get to 1,500 words. We want to get to 2,000 words.
yeah,
But then again, when we're talking about thinking about your visitors and your readers, they don't want all the fluff. They want to know what you want to say, and they want to know the answer to their question. They want to know the information. So, I did start doing mugs and had
yeah.
the don't
Your
fluff.
print on demand. Yeah,
Yeah. And hopefully, I think now Google is rewarding people that do create concise, clear, to the point content.
yeah,
And with the snippets and that kind of stuff, you can see that that's how it's going. And
yes.
a lot of people are typing questions into Google and searching for specific bits of information, and you need to be able to package that information up and deliver it in a quick, concise way.
Yeah, I think Google, like most of these search engines, because search engines are everywhere. They're on the social media platforms, Bing, Yahoo, even websites to a certain extent. If you put in Ajax facilities on there, is that they're working out: are you staying on track to the intent, or are you starting to veer off?
Yeah,
So if it's a very specific, and I think rich snippets were the way that sort of introduced us to this. So when people were asking very specific questions like, what's the average shoe size of a woman in the UK? There's no way you were going to write 1,000 words on that,
no,
not without taking it off topic.
no,
So I think answering the question is the be all end all. I mean, I do have, and I'll share it with you after this video, and I'm sort of in two minds, and it'll be a question in a minute I'll ask you about whether I show my domain or not, because I know you've done this and Carla's done it, and I know there's a downside to that as well. But I quite like the process I put together of the weeds, how I identify it. I look at the removal, I look at the different methods, I look at the identification through the different seasons. I've already come with a very prescribed format. And then when I've gone and done my due diligence looking at what's already on the internet, there's wanting.
yeah,
Which is great from an affiliate point of view. The next part of that problem to solve is, can I make money out of it?
yeah.
So
But if you get the visitors, then in theory you can. Just
yes. So my next question then is, I want to be as transparent as possible because I think there's more value conveyed in that. But I know there's a downside to transparency, and you've had it, and I know Carl's had it. What would you say regarding that?
what's being transparent?
Yeah,
Well,
and transparent in the sense of you've made your domain public.
yeah. A lot of people are scared of it. I think it's a good thing. It brings credibility, and people are able to trust you. The downside is that people do copy your stuff for sure. But whether that's anything to worry about, I don't think it is. I think if you're confident in what you're doing and you're first kind of in the space as it is, and you know what you're doing, then you've got nothing to worry about. And I think, yeah, it's really helped my channel by being transparent and showing my stuff. You're also going to get criticism, and I had an issue with that at one point, only with myself. I stupidly was on Reddit and started looking for me on Reddit, what people were saying about me, and found some people saying, oh, this guy don't know what he's doing, his stuff is rubbish, other negative stuff, and took that to heart a little bit more than I should have done. On the flip side, I've got a great community, and a lot of them love what I'm doing and say it's fantastic, and I proved to myself with the Best Roof Box project that I can do it, and ultimately ended up selling the site for quite a lot of money. So transparency is going to bring comments, it's going to bring copycats, but you've got to be able to deal with that, and don't take the negative comments. There's always going to be trolls, there's always going to be people that are going to say horrible things about you, and that is a risk that you take when you put yourself out on the internet.
No worse than our kids.
No, company or the industry, whatever. So to have it under your control and be confident in yourself that if you need to go out today and make some money, maybe not go out, but probably just get on the internet, you can. And that gives you more comfort and more security, I think, than a job ever would.
And I think that's a great answer, because it is that illusion that while you've got a job, you think you're safe and secure, and you're not.
No,
You
you're
know,
not. You're
uh,
in fact you're at more risk, I think, because yeah, if they
you
whip
know,
that away, well, you need to then get your skills up and whatever and else to find some work and or do your own thing, and you know you're only going to have a certain time frame to do that in. Whereas if you start doing it now,
yes.
or you've got a job, then you can have that confidence and not.
Or even if you're doing it in tandem with your job, then
Yeah, I
you've
think you
got
should do it in
something to
tandem,
fall
definitely.
back on.
I would never suggest that you go in and slam the resignation on your boss's desk and say, "Screw you, boss! I'm going to be an affiliate marketeer. See you later."
Yes, I can imagine
No, I
that.
think you
You
should.
sit in front of your computer and say, right, okay, I'll watch a YouTube video and see how this is done. What, 12 months later, I'm going to make an income?
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. Patience is definitely a virtue, and all
Yeah,
these things take longer than you think. There is no kind of get rich overnight system.
no,
It's going to
no.
take some work. It's going to take plenty of time.
Well, to that point, I'm doing exactly the same with my Ezoic. To be fair, they had an open policy, so I thought I'd take them up whilst the website was quite new, and I'm probably 700 visitors a month so far on it. So I'm very much in the infancy on this one particular website, but it is monetized. Now, from my point of view, that yin and yang effect, I don't want to spoil the UX. So whilst it's on there, it's very minimal amount of adverts in there.
Yeah,
So every day I see, oh, I made another $3.
yeah,
It's like, wow, that's going to change my life. But it's not so much that; it's that when I do need to turn the dial up, I can. I'm in
no, yeah.
control.
And
That's
no, those first dollars are the hardest to make, really.
uh,
So
but it's a comforting thought that you grew something from nothing and made something. And I think that's half the beauty of being the entrepreneur that's at the heart of being an affiliate marketer, is that you can basically, within any sense, is you could just pluck something out of the air, put your finger on it and say, right, I'm going to write about that.
yeah,
Look, genetically modified maggots. That's my subject. And then go with it and then think, well, I could be number one on that, but will there be any money in it?
yeah. Well, you find out later, I guess. But
Exactly. Right. Okay. So we're sort of drawing to a close. And I really do appreciate your time. And I've been meaning to catch up with you for a
no, it's been
long
good.
time. Um, just summing up then, if anybody wants to reach out and contact you or engage with you, what's the best way of doing that?
Well, anyone could drop me an email. My email is eagle@wpeagle.com. Come and find me on my YouTube channel, WP Eagle. Join me on a live stream Tuesday evening, 8:30 UK time normally. And I'm there. I try and answer all the comments and questions that come in via the chat. So we can talk in real time on there. Leave me a comment on any of my videos. I do read all the comments and I'll try and reply. But yeah, just reach out. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places.
And you've got a Discord group as well, haven't you?
There is a Discord group. You find all of my contact details in the descriptions to any of my videos.
I will put them in under this one as well.
Okay, perfect.
That'll be early next week. So just finally ending on a happy note, as it were, what one takeaway would you give to anybody thinking of becoming an affiliate marketer or starting tentatively within this process?
Just start. Just start. That's all I can say, really. Just start. Don't worry. You're going to make mistakes. Things are going to go wrong. You're not going to get rich overnight, but just start and start creating something, and the satisfaction you'll get when you get your site up or get your YouTube channel up, whatever it is you're doing, will hopefully drive you forward. Just that reward of creating is kind of enough to give you some great momentum. But just stop. I think a lot of people get stuck at the bit before starting. They go, okay, I'm definitely going to do this. I'm going to be an affiliate marketer. So then they start watching lots of videos on YouTube, and then they buy a course and they're going to do the course, and then they're going to want to make sure they get the niche right. So they need to do lots of research. They need to think about niches. They've got lots of lists. They're thinking about it. There's a lot of thinking, a lot of training. Just start. Just do something. Register that domain name, buy your website hosting or whatever it is you're doing, and start. And pick one of those niches. If you've got a list of 5, pick one of them. It's very difficult to kind of predict which one is going to be the perfect niche. You just got to start and see how it pans out.
You mentioned it earlier. Pick something you like.
Yeah, that's a great one.
And I know 9 times out of 10 we're sort of ingrained with that business sense of no, you pick something that makes you money. You shouldn't be emotionally tied to it. But I think sometimes the best sites out there are the ones that have the emotional tie, where you see people like the social influencers and the bloggers it's that personal tie that, you know, exemplifies their personality, and that resonates in the content. Hence the reason I watch you when you're doing your streams. You make it much more different. You have the competitions in there, you do your sound effects,
Yeah, we
your
just have a bit of fun.
horns,
It's not
you
very
do your
professional, but yeah.
rapping. You know, it's what elevates it to make something more interesting.
Yeah, I think don't always just look at what other people are doing and go, okay, I need to do it that way or that way, because especially when it comes to things like YouTube or anything really, the thing that makes something good and something unique is you and what you bring to it. So if someone else is doing the same thing as you, that doesn't necessarily matter, because when you do it, it's still going to be different because it's you and not them.
Exactly. And on that note, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you've gained a lot of knowledge out of listening to the questions I asked Alex, but more importantly, the answers he's given. This gentleman has certainly traveled a lot of ground within the affiliate marketing community. If you'd like to find out more about Alex, please click on the links below. He has a fantastic YouTube channel, WP Eagle, and also a Discord group where lots of information is imparted both by him and the members included within that community. I'll leave all descriptions below. Likewise, if you'd like to subscribe and like this video, very much appreciate. As part and parcel of the art of YouTube is growing the brand, but also more importantly, click that notification button and I'll ensure that any future interviews you get notified straight away. So it only remains for me to say a big thank you to Alex once again, and I hope you've gained the necessary insight to push your brand forward. See you in the next video.